Well, here we are on day 11 of this trip and just having a delicious coffee. Have you tasted the coffee this morning, Ted? It's perfect. These are Barren Grounds caribou, and Barren Grounds caribou have the largest migration of any terrestrial animal on the face of the planet. Nothing in Africa or anywhere travels even remotely the distances that caribous do. So these caribou would be part of the Bathurst herd right now, but unfortunately caribou numbers have been falling off across almost all of the north for a long time now, with a couple of herds, small herds that are doing okay or even growing. I think maybe the blue nose herd might be, but overall whatever's happening to caribou, we don't know. If there's no more caribou, then there's no reason to not develop these areas, and people are talking about connecting the diamond mines in the Northwest Territories when they close all the way to the Arctic coast and building a road right across the Barren Grounds. There'd be a road or a ferry right across the Hood River, that means, and it would completely destroy the wilderness status of this entire area. You wouldn't be catching fish like that from shore for very much longer after the road was in there, and it might be the nail in the coffin for these beautiful caribou and these beautiful wild areas. So personally don't want to see a road across the Arctic barren lands. I'd probably cry if that was to happen. Okay, here we go on the water. Day 11, and today is going to be characterized by many small, hopefully manageable rapids, swift current, boulder dodging, and we're going to try to do 30 plus K today. We shouldn't have a portage, but we might have some technical boulder strewn ledges to deal with. It looks like some rain in the distance, but none in the Garmin positional forecast, and then tomorrow is supposed to be rainy, so we're going to soak it up today, try to get as many batteries charged up as we can with the solar. Like if that was higher water, the whole thing might have just been a swift, so it might make like shorter sections harder, but everything overall easier, you know? Wow, this is really beautiful. Paddling along the base of this big sand bluff, and it looks like we have a rapid right as this bluff comes to an end. Looks like there's a big hole down there. I see a line. I'm just gonna bomb this hole. There's a whitewater tip for you. Zigzag across the rapid, paddling full speed forward. It works, okay? It works. Might not be pretty, but you'll get the job done. Got a little note on this part of the river. It says series of grade 2 stretches. So grade 2s are big enough to dump, pin your boat, wrap it around a boulder and crush it. But they're not super challenging typically, but you got to be careful. And it says special care needs to be taken at kilometer 170 and 172, which is where we are, where some of the maneuvering becomes more technical and the waves become a great deal larger. So that's what we're heading into right now. And I'm essentially just gonna pick my way down river. Hopefully if anything gets too intense, there'll be time to pull over quickly and line or scout and run. Looks pretty rugged and beautiful stretch of river though. So there's a tributary here, so we might take a couple of casts at the mouth, see if we can't catch us a fish. Maybe another 25-pound Leviathan, who knows? Keep.
That's a beauty. Yeah.
It's hard to see, but you can see snow in the mountains here. A couple patches. All this paddling has made me come off a wee bit peckish. So a lot of the time the stuff I bring for lunch are things you can eat quickly while you're on the move. Definitely should always be a no-cook affair. So I have a couple of these Built bars, which I already ate. Then I have beef jerky here. Actually, it's not beef jerky, it's venison jerky. Then I have pemmican, and pemmican is something I make often. It was eaten heavily in the fur trade era by indigenous people before that. And it's equal parts rendered animal fat, crushed pulverized berries, and crushed pulverized meat. I didn't budget as much trail mix today because I have the beef jerky, but typically 1 cup of trail mix has about 800 calories, especially if you add some things. So I actually add small milk duds and more cashews to them, and that probably bumps this up to 850, 900 calories per cup. We got the pemmican, beef jerky, the bars, and the trail mix. So that's how we do lunch. Hey Ted, look on top of this big rock here. Anyways, Ted and I just came down a stretch of river, and I looked over and saw this huge boulder left there by the glaciers, and on top of it are some interesting things. They don't look like rocks, maybe antlers, maybe something that a person placed on top of it, maybe remnants of some sort of eagle's nest, we don't know, but I think I'm gonna climb out and go have a look. Well, it was quite the climb. It looks definitely like an old Inuit site of some sort. Look at this. So these flat rocks placed up here. Look at the view of the surrounding country. I think the caribou migration came along the side of the river here, and they just used this as a stone blind and hid in here. And with the caribou migration trails, some of those can last a long time, and it looked like at least at one time large amounts of caribou moved along this side of the river. But anyways, I decided to come up here, climb up here and check it out and see what it is, because I thought it might be some sort of Inuit historical site, and it turns out, well, it's absolutely gotta be. All these rocks are just flat rocks in a circle. There's an entranceway marked with a rose quartzite cross in it. A lot of these rocks have been broken to make flat. A lot of them have tool marks in them where it looks like caribou meat or something was cut up on them. They're placed in a circle. So I think that this was a blind, and that people would hide up here with these rocks standing up to block them from the migrating caribou who would move this way, and then they would spear them and arrow them as the caribou moved around this rock. But I might be wrong, it might be something else, but I've never seen anything quite like this with the rocks before. But it's definitely something left by people a very long time ago. So I'm really glad I pulled over to check it out. This is just so awesome. Back in the boat after checking out this giant monolithic boulder that had evidence of a very old stone blind on top, and evidence of the caribou migration moving right through here. All the old trails, you can still see them they could be there for a very, very long time. So, and I'd say definitely like signs of the cutting on top of the rocks too, eh? What you noted about the lichen might be a good way to get that dialed in, you know? It is right here on the 23rd of September, 1821, that John Franklin's first overland expedition probably crossed the Hood River to continue what was a starvation expedition heading south back to Fort Reliance on Great Slave. And multiple people died, including Robert Hood, who was likely cannibalized, and that's what the Hood River's named after. Ominous. So fortunately, we're having a much better trip than Franklin and his men on his first overland expedition of 1821. Still time for everything to go downhill though, I guess, knock on wood. But yeah, certainly seems a lot more beautiful right now. That was a tricky one because too far left there's this huge ledge with a huge hole, but the whole river was kind of trying to push you right into it, right over it, I should say. Wolf. You see it? You saw it. That was pretty cool. Paddling along and I just see this big, beautiful Arctic wolf just trotting up high on the bank. And it's just trotting, kind of looking at me. It saw me before I saw it. And when it saw probably what I was, it veered off. And I told Ted, who's behind me, but he didn't see it. So Ted said, well, let's jump out and go look. And Ted walked up and actually managed to get a little footage of it staring at him and then running away. So really neat, an Arctic wolf sighting. That's pretty special. We're gonna camp here. I think we made it like 30, 35 maybe. We weren't exactly beast paddling all day either. Okay, so today I got a fish. It's pretty small. I'm gonna rehydrate some pea soup. This is habitant pea soup, which is like it comes in like a can about this big around and about this big. So it's a good hearty portion of soup. And it's actually a Canadian company out of Montreal. Pea soup is like, for sure, French Canadians know how to do it right. And also pea soup, or some version of pea soup type thing, was also eaten a lot by the voyageurs back in the fur trade era. Basically all I do is I just open the can and I just pour it onto a piece of parchment paper that's on a cookie sheet, and then I just pop that in the oven and on the middle rack and keep it on low for a few hours, or just put it in the dehydrator, put it at about 140 degrees Fahrenheit in the dehydrator, and it looks like this afterwards. So all all the moisture out of it, and we're just gonna basically add that back. Let's see how the Habitant pea soup is turning out. That's a lot of pea soup. Use a bit more. Feel a little crunchy. Little Teddy Teddaroo is gonna be cooking the fish. I seasoned it up. I use that salmon seasoning, which is I think our new favorite. My fish is perfect, Ted. Maybe a little, like this back part, a little done, but overdone, like you said, but it's really delicious.
It's hard when it's thick to get, you know?
Okay, so it is the end of day 11, double bars, lucky number 11. 11 from that movie Stranger Things with special powers. It was a pretty cool day. Whitewater challenges, nothing like super crazy, but believe me, everything is amped up a lot when you're out here because of the remoteness of it, and a lot of people just to be safe will give rapids another grade higher. So class 2 will be, they'll call class 3 because they'll take that extreme remoteness into consideration. You know, you think about it, if we smash a hole in our canoe, dump, crush it around the boulder, lose it with all our gear, like we're pretty screwed out here. You know, we might not die, but it's a major issue trying to get rescued and all that kind of stuff. But we ended up paddling about 34 kilometers today in all, which is good little chunk for sure. Tomorrow we're going to try to do the same, but we do have a portage tomorrow that's going to slow us down too. We pushed on into the evening. It's probably about midnight right now. And we're going to climb into bed. Of course, it never gets dark here, so your schedule doesn't matter that much. All right, well, I'm going to go ditch this food barrel and go to bed because I'm exhausted.